You are driving home. Red and blue lights flash behind you. The officer walks up and says, "Step out of the vehicle." Most drivers panic and comply immediately. But here's what 99% of people don't know. Four simple phrases can completely change how this stop ends. I'm a criminal defense attorney. I've represented hundreds of traffic stop cases. And I've watched good people lose their rights and thousands of dollars because they didn't know these four phrases. Today I'm giving you the exact words that force officers to either let you go or prove they have legal grounds to hold you. Let's jump in. Number 1. Am I free to leave? This is the most powerful question you can ask during any police encounter. Police encounters fall into 3 categories: voluntary, Terry stop, or arrest. Most people never figure out which one they're in, and that confusion costs them everything. Officers are trained to keep things vague because the longer you stay, the more evidence they can gather. Picture this. Officer pulls you over for a broken tail light. He checks your license, writes the ticket, hands it back. Then he says, "So where are you headed tonight?" Most people answer. Then he asks more questions. Now you're stuck there for 20 minutes while he fishes for probable cause. Here's the truth. The moment that ticket is in your hand, his legal authority to detain you is over. This comes from Rodriguez versus United States, 2015. The Supreme Court made it crystal clear. Officers cannot prolong a traffic stop beyond the time needed to handle the traffic violation. So when that officer starts small talk, you're no longer legally required to stay. That's when you say, "Officer, am I free to leave?" If he says yes, you leave immediately. If he says no, now you know you're being detained and he needs reasonable suspicion of a crime, not a hunch. Specific articulable facts. Here's the psychology. Officers hate this question because it forces them to make a choice on camera. Their body cam is recording. The moment you ask, "Am I free to leave?" they either release you or admit they're detaining you, which they must justify. Wrong way. Officer hands you the ticket. "All right, you're all set." "Hey, you've been drinking tonight." You answer, "No, sir. Just had dinner." Now he's got you talking. Every answer gives him more ammunition. "Right way, officer, am I free to leave?" He pauses. "I just have a few questions." You repeat, "Am I free to leave or am I being detained?" Now he's stuck. If you're free to leave, the conversation ends. If you're detained, he must justify it on camera. Number 2. I plead the fifth. Most people think staying silent is enough. It's not. In 2013, the Supreme Court ruled in Salinas versus Texas that your silence can be used against you unless you explicitly invoke your Fifth Amendment right. If you just stay quiet without saying the words, prosecutors can tell a jury. Notice how he refused to answer. That's because he's guilty. Genovo Salinas was questioned by police about a murder. He wasn't under arrest. He answered questions for almost an hour. Then the detective asked, "Will the shotgun shells from your house match the ones from the crime scene?" Salinas went silent. The prosecution used that silence as evidence of guilt. The Supreme Court said that was allowed because he never explicitly invoked the privilege. Here's the rule. You must verbally say the words, "I plead the fifth" or "I invoke my right to remain silent." Officers are trained to exploit your silence. If you don't invoke, they'll pressure you. And at trial, the prosecutor tells the jury your silence proves guilt. Picture this. Officer pulls you over, starts asking questions. "Where are you coming from? Any drugs in the car?" You feel pressure building. You stop answering. Big mistake. The officer writes, "Suspect became evasive, displaying signs of guilt." Right way, officer asks, "Where are you coming from?" You respond, "Officer, I'm invoking my right to remain silent. I'm not answering questions without my attorney." He pushes back, "Why are you lawyering up?" You repeat, "I plead the fifth." Now he can't use your silence against you. You've clearly invoked a constitutional right on camera. Key point. Once you invoke, stick to it. Don't answer one more question. Don't explain. Just say, "I've invoked my Fifth Amendment right." Then stop talking. It's uncomfortable. Officers will keep asking. Let them. You've done your job. Number 3. I want a lawyer. This phrase ends interrogation immediately. You can invoke your Sixth Amendment right to counsel at any time during any police interaction. Once you clearly request an attorney, questioning is supposed to stop, but you have to be clear and unambiguous. What doesn't work? Maybe I should talk to a lawyer. That's not clear enough. Officers will keep questioning. What works? I want a lawyer. Or I'm not speaking without my attorney present. Simple, direct, unambiguous. The officer might say, why do you need a lawyer if you didn't do anything wrong? Don't engage. Repeat, I've requested my attorney. Am not answering questions. He might say, once you lawyer up, I can't help you. That's manipulation. Repeat, I want my lawyer. Real example, guy gets pulled over. Officer claims he smells marijuana. How much weed you got? Just tell me the truth. Driver panics. Officer, I don't smoke. I had friends in the car earlier. Now the officer has probable cause. The driver just admitted other people were there. They search, find an old roach. Driver arrested. Right way. Officer, how much weed you got? Driver, am invoking my Fifth Amendment right. Right. I want my attorney. Am not answering questions. Officer threatens. Am calling a K-9 unit. Driver, I've requested my lawyer. I'm not discussing anything further. Now the officer needs independent probable cause. The driver gave him nothing. Bottom line, use this phrase early. Never let an officer talk you out of it. Smart people invoke their rights. Number 4, I do not consent to searches. This is your Fourth Amendment shield. If you give consent, the officer can search anything and everything they find is admissible. But if you refuse consent and they search anyway without probable cause, that evidence gets thrown out. Consent cures all. Even illegal searches become legal if you consented. Officer pulls you over, runs your license, walks back. You don't have anything illegal in the car, right? You don't mind if I take a quick look? That question is a trap. If you say yes, he claims you consented. If you say no, he claims you said you don't mind. Only response, officer, I do not consent to any searches. The dynamic changes. The officer might get aggressive. What are you hiding? Don't take the bait. Am not consenting to searches. If you have probable cause, do what you need to do, but I do not give my consent. Now he needs independent legal justification. Drug dog threat. Rodriguez versus United States protects you. Officers cannot prolong a traffic stop to wait for a drug dog unless they have reasonable suspicion. When he says, I'm calling a K-9, you respond, officer, am I free to leave? If the stop is over, he cannot legally hold you. State variations matter. In Texas and Florida, marijuana smell is still probable cause, but in Colorado and Maryland, courts ruled smell alone isn't enough. If you've refused consent, your lawyer has grounds to challenge. Before and after. Before. I guess so. Officer tears through your car for 30 minutes. Leaves your stuff everywhere. After. I do not consent. Officer threatens backup. You repeat, I do not consent to searches. He realizes you know your rights. He needs probable cause or he lets you go. Final point. Never physically resist. If he searches anyway, keep saying, I do not consent. Make sure it's on the body cam. Your refusal makes that search challengeable in court. Race the physical safety protocol. When lights flash, pull over safely. Turn on dome light if dark. Turn off engine. Both hands on steering wheel. Roll window down 2 to 4 and only. Lock your doors. Announce, officer. I'm locking the vehicle for safety. I'll hand documents through the window. This shows cooperation while preventing plain view searches. When he asks for license and registration, announce before you move. Officer, my license is in my wallet. May I reach for it? Move slowly. Narrate everything. Officers watch for furtive movements. Anything quick gets interpreted as a threat. Request versus order distinction. Can you step out as a request? You can say no. Step out of the car is an order. Under Pennsylvania versus Mims, officers can order you out during a lawful stop. How to handle it? Officer, are you asking or ordering me? If ordering, comply, but say for the record, I am complying under protest. My hands will stay visible. You're obeying the order but stating you didn't exit voluntarily. If asking, you can decline. Common mistakes that destroy protection. 1. Talking too much. Every word beyond your 4 phrases helps the prosecution. 2. Trying to outsmart the officer. Don't argue case law. Just use your phrases. 3. Giving consent under pressure. When he says I'm getting a warrant, that's usually a bluff. If he had grounds, he wouldn't need consent. For answering just one more question. Once you invoke, every answer weakens protection. 5. Thinking politeness means compliance. You can be respectful and firm. Officer, with respect, I'm not answering questions without my attorney. Hey, race the truth. Most people lose their rights before they realize they had them. Courts care about your words. If you don't use the right words at the right time, you lose. These 4 phrases are your armor. Am I free to leave? Forces justification. I plead the 5th protects your silence. I want a lawyer ends interrogation. I do not consent to searches makes them prove probable cause. Pull out your phone right now. Open notes. Type these 4 phrases. Am I free to leave? I plead the 5th. I want a lawyer. I do not consent to searches. Save it. Title it Traffic Stop Rights. Read it before you drive. Make these words automatic. When those lights flash, adrenaline takes over. You need these phrases memorized. Remember, officers are doing their job. They're trained to gather evidence. Your job is to protect yourself, not to prove innocence on the roadside, not to explain yourself. Use these 4 phrases. Stay calm, stay respectful, and let your lawyer handle the rest in court where it belongs. The smartest people aren't the ones who talk the most. They're the ones who know when to stop talking. If this video saved you from a costly mistake, hit that like button. Subscribe for more legal strategies that work. Share this with anyone who drives. And most importantly, always protect yourself. Stay safe out there.